Okay, guys, this is unit 4, lesson 15, okay? We're going to talk about fractions on a number line, okay? So here's some info. It says, how do number lines help us understand numbers? Okay. You are used to seeing a number line that shows whole numbers, okay? Obviously 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 in this particular number line. Okay, the numbers on this number line are the same distance apart. The distance from one number to the next is 1 whole. So the distance between here and here is 1. The distance between here and here is also 1. This is also 1, and this is also 1. Okay, obviously I would have 4 altogether. Now fractions shows equal parts of a whole. So you notice that this is one whole, right? This whole thing. And in this case, this number line is divided into how many sections? 4. 4 sections, right? The unit fraction is the fraction for every square in that, or every section in that number line. What would be the unit fraction for this? 1/4. Obviously, half of it would be 2/4. Three sections would be 3/4, and then the whole thing would be 4/4. But the unit fraction for each one of these is 1/4. Is 1/4. The section between 0 and 1 is marked off into 4 equal parts. So each part shows 1/4, and which is called a. So each section, or the fraction for each one of those, is called a unit fraction. Okay, a unit fraction. Number lines, you can count fractions on a number line just like you count whole numbers. Okay, so you notice that the first one is 1/4, and it goes from 1/4 to 2/4, and then it goes to 3/4, and then 4/4. Did you notice that 4/4 is equal to what? 1 whole. So in my numerator is the same as my denominator. It equals to what? 1 whole. Okay. You can also use number lines to show fractions greater than 1. Because you can also use number lines to show fractions greater than 1. To do this, mark off each section between the pairs of whole numbers, like 0 and 1, and 1 and 2, into the same number of equal parts. So each one of those, each section, or each one of these is, what's the unit fraction again?
1/4.
1/4. So when I get to 1, my fraction is going to be 4/4. Okay. When I get to 2, it's going to be double it, right? So it's going to be 8/4. Last time I checked, 8 divided by 4, what is? 2, isn't it? Yes. These are improper fractions. Okay, later on in 4th grade, you'll learn what mixed fractions are, where we have a whole number with the fraction next to it. Okay. That's just later. So look at number 1. We're just reflecting, okay? It says how many thirds, okay, or the word thirds, THIRDS, are between 0 and 1 on a number line. So here's my number line. Okay, make sure it's straight. Okay, there's my number line. And then it's 0 and 1, right? And 1. And I have to, I have to cut this line into how many? Thirds. So how many sections am I going to need? 3. And I can use how many lines to do that? 2. Okay. So that's about right, roughly about right there. Okay. So how many thirds are there? How many sections do I see? 3. So there are 3 thirds. Any number line that has 0 to 1 with thirds. Okay, there are 3 thirds. So this section here and this section here and this section here, this is 1/3. This is 1/3, and this is 1/3. So what would it mean by what would be the fraction here on the first line? 1/3. What comes next? 2/3. And then over 1? 3/3. So then I know that 3/3 is equal to 1 whole. Okay, so study the example showing the points and sections on the number line. They solve questions 1 through 6. All right, let's see what we got. So the part of the number line between 0 and 1 shows 1 whole, right? So that's between this right here. That's 1 whole, right? Okay. The part of the number line between 3 and 8 shows 5 wholes. So I went from here. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 wholes. Okay. This number line is not divided into fractions, is it? No, it's not. Okay. So label the number lines between the missing numbers. Okay. So it looks like I'm only counting by ones, by the way. So after 8 is 9. Yes, that's true. Let me remove this up. Sorry about that. So then what comes next? 11, 12, 13, and 14. Okay. So number 2, it looks like I have another number line. So if I'm going backwards, what's the number before 20? 1. 20. Then what comes next? 19. And then if I'm going forward? 22, 23, 24. I already have 25. What comes next? 26. This number line counts by ones. Write the numbers for the star and the heart. So what do I have to do first? Label the number line, right? Yeah. So what's after 55? 57. And 59. If I go backwards, I go 55, 54, 53, 52, 51. So what number is represented by the star? Here's 53. There's no star here. Which one is it? 52. And what number is represented by the heart? 59. Okay, go ahead and label number 4 for me, please. I don't know that. And it's I was stretching this for you to assert. Okay. So if I'm labeled number 4, if I'm going forward is 132, 133, 134, 135, 136. So I'm going backwards. 131, 130, and then 129. Okay, Travis, what number is represented by the circle?
131.
Okay, how do you say the number though? 131. Okay. Kyle, what number is represented by the square? 134. Okay. So it says some marks are hidden on these number lines. Estimate or guess. Okay, choose a number marked by the star. So look where the star is compared to the 0 and the 10. What number do you think that is? 5, because it looks like it's halfway, doesn't it? Yeah. So the number between 0 and 10 is, yeah, you're right, it's 5. And how about the star?
4.
Okay, whoa. If it was 4, isn't that halfway? Okay. First of all, is it 4 or greater? Is it somewhere in this area right here? No. So it can't be 5 and it can't be 6. And it's not halfway, is it? So it can't be 4. So what's left? 2. 2 is what's left.